Hello, Snake here, revealing some of the problems with Champions Online that have existed, not just from the recent kitchen sink style patch, but from much earlier stages. Today's argument is Imbue. When you use Imbue, the next attack you use will consume Imbue, and be guaranteed to be a critical hit, where the severity is determined on your constitution. I currently have 357 strength, 362 constitution, thanks to the aid of the Primal Majesty, which causes Enrage to give 20% per boost. Now, that should all work fine, but the problem with Imbue is that when you use it, there are powers in the game that are not consuming Imbue when they should be. So, enraged, imbued powers is where things come overpowered and can definitely be seen as not intended, especially when Imbue is not consumed. This is an example of what Imbue can do. Ego Storm with Malevolent Manifestation. See how Imbue is not consumed. I'll now try Gas Arrow. Still not consumed. Sigils of Primal Storm. Still not consumed. Furthermore, with Imbue comes the sigils of Arcane Runes, and just about any pair of sigils can be used with Imbue, but not actually consume the Imbue status change. I'm unsure why they're not exploding. It's been happening for a while. And Imbue, yet again, with Psychic Vortex. Imbue is not consumed. I will now use a combination of the powers that do not consume Imbue. A small problem with some powers being used with Imbue is that some of these powers are ignoring dodge when they probably should not be. I'm unsure if this is intended or not intended. This includes the power Psychic Vortex that ignores dodge, and also the Neuroelectric Pulse Generator. I will combine Imbue with the Pulse Generator. There are other devices in the game which, when combined with Imbue, produce yet another method for infinite health in the game, combined with another exploit I will come and explain to you later. Imbue comes into use with many devices. Unfortunately, with the use of a second exploit I will talk about later, this produces a second God Mode effect. This comes with the Necrolytic Elixir. Currently, it will heal me for 56,371 HP over 300 seconds. I'll enable it now. Per second, it will tick for 187. The figure that Necrolytic Elixir heals for, 56,371, seems like a great number, but per second it's not that high, and the item is such a rare item to get that it's probably worth it. One of the problems, however, again, it comes from Imbue. You can imbue the necrolytic elixir. I'll use it now. Now it is ticking for 332. This is the first stage of the immortality problem. The problem goes even further than this when you calculate damage figures when it comes to receiving enrage with retaliation and forcing it to crit. I have here a device called Eruption. It is only a level 27 item. Let's see what it does to our animals. I think I saw 14,500. It's my friend Megaterak, unable to do anything as usual. The Punji Stick Trap. As you can see, it is boosted from 7,000 damage to 9,000 plus. That's just from retaliation. I am going to imbue the Punji Stick Trap. This causes 2,000 plus DPS without having to press anything. You can lay down as many of these Punji stick traps as you like. When repeated, this allows you to kill things like Teleosaurus with no effort. That didn't take very long. Punji stick traps also are not a unique item. You may fill your entire device bar with them, and they have a short cooldown. They also use imbue. The problem is that the more of these Punji stick traps you let loose onto the ground, the higher your DPS goes. 2k DPS, 4k DPS, and so on and so forth. The more you have collected, you could probably reach over 40,000 DPS without actually pressing a button, besides the Punji stick trap. Another severe problem with champions is that there are always many hitches with the user interface. For example, if you summon sigils but are interrupted at the last moment, your UI displays a cooldown, as if you cast the power, but the server doesn't recognize that you have cast the power. Your user interface is giving you a cooldown when the server really should be reinforming your user interface that you are, in fact, you haven't used that power, and that you should be able to use it. Because of the user interface not properly working, there's some issues that allow you to cast things bypassing the cooldown. I'll give you an example. Here are the Gadroon Mercenary Contract. Have you noticed something? The item was not placed on cooldown. I'll do it again. again. The items have not received a cooldown. This with summons provides quite a lot of strength and firepower. But that is only the beginning. As I mentioned earlier, the necrolytic elixir. Yes, that's your god mode. By using imbue on the necrolytic elixir and either removing it from your tray before it is consumed as you use it, or by switching your build out for a build that does not have the item in place, you will use the item, but you will not actually get a cooldown. To do this with these devices, I am simply clicking 3 times. The third click, I hold the button down and drag it out into my inventory before it receives a cooldown. Now, to my understanding, most of people's pet problems come from this little guy, the frost lizard, and then the rest from the smoke grenade. To show that I'm not biased, I agree with you, targeting is a problem. I just don't believe that removing the pet's debuff is the solution. Early on in Champions, there used to be a different system for cloaking. I'm not sure for how long it was around, but when I used to play with cloak on purpose, it used to be that the enemy you targeted, if it received a perception debuff, or you were cloaked, instead of deselecting the target, it would simply pop up with a message, the target is invalid, because it's cloaked, but you wouldn't lose your selection. And when your target came out from cloak, you could start attacking again because the powers were now valid to use. In my opinion, bringing back this mechanic would save a lot of people's problems. Thank you for watching this video. There is a lot more to cover, but this will do for today. Let's review what we have learned.